do I say it correctly? The theory about access to information, access to knowledge, how societies are moving through transitions to a knowledge-based, knowledge-intensive country. That was the presentation by Dan. After that we had these workshops, practical, hands-on practical workshops. And right now we will end up with a keynote, which is more focused.
If I may, I would actually like to use the next 45 minutes to an hour, whatever I have, in a more collaborative fashion. After all, this is all about social networking. So why don't we network while we talk as well? So if I may do that, instead of doing a lecture, I'd like to interact.
Yes,
and go through my slides at the same time, but I'd also like to interact with the audience. Thank you. The last day and a half, or day I should say, we started middle of yesterday. Last day, I assume that you actually went through theories of social networking that Dan talked about. I was here for that keynote. And then you also did some practice on what social networking really meant for the group, and also you as an individual. So you had that experience. Some of you came here with experience. Some of you probably learned about social networking using different tools in this room. So if I may actually ask somebody who has not used social networking before coming here, what was your experience in the last day or so? If you could, if anybody. What did you learn? Why do you think it's going to be useful? Anybody? Yes, please.
I was away from the social network tools because I thought it was mostly for the young generation.
It's not longer.
Oh. Yeah, please.
So,
do you want to come up here?
Okay. Well, I did say this before, but you were not here at that time. My impression was that these social network tools were mostly for the young generation. So I thought that I was not young enough to handle them anymore, because it takes a lot of time. And getting busy day by day, I thought that I should just stay away from it. But after coming here, I felt that this can be used for the research work that I do occasionally, to link with the other researchers around the world to collect information to make my papers better. So that's the impression I'm taking from this conference.
Thanks a lot. That's very illuminating. So networking with researchers around the world. So that's what he got out of social networking. Anybody who has used social networking before, maybe Facebook, Twitter, or anything else, blogging, and then learned something new here? Anybody?
Facebook and LinkedIn, as I said earlier, I've been using for a couple of years, but I never knew about the power, true power, for disseminating knowledges and to find specific knowledges, like delicious. I have the account created back in 2008, but I never used after creating the account. Today I have been using that. As I told you on the lunch table, I've been using those tools, but networking and the true use of like my mobile phone, as I say, I never use this camera for taking pictures and videos of any good moment and any moment that can be shared with my peers. So after this workshop, I'm feeling too much energized that I have lots of social networking tools, and just getting out of this room, I'll just burst into those networks and sharing knowledge with everybody and with my peers. I never knew about these powers. Thank you.
Thank you, very inspiring. Richard, you want to say something? Let me go into my slides. My Facebook. I mean, when you think about social networking, the first thing that comes to mind is Facebook. Right? There was a movie last year which is probably going to get a few Oscars in the next few days. Already got Golden Globes and everything, so why not Oscars? So social networking may be seen as a sensation, but if you look at the numbers, right? Friendster, MySpace, which are precursors to Facebook. And Facebook came around 2004, so only maybe 6 to 7 years, and 600 million users on Facebook, and basically surpassed Friendster, MySpace, and Twitter is up and coming also. So it's not to be seen as a sensation. Obviously, it means something to 600 million people. It means something for their connectedness with other researchers, friends, families, professional networks. So it has different meanings to different people. Bangladesh is going to, what time is it now? Is going to play Ireland in a few minutes, I think. Right, 10 minutes. So you're sacrificing that game to be here. So also, this session must also mean something. So I did a quick search in Facebook, Bangladesh cricket, and many fan clubs and many fan pages came up. So there is Bangladesh cricket, Cricket Bangladesh, Bangladesh Cricket Tiger, and so on and so forth, with probably 11,000 to 24,000 people. So different numbers. I did another search for the Bangladeshi captain, Sakib Al Hasan, and 125,000 people are fans of his in Facebook. So obviously in Bangladesh, and there are probably a few NRBs here, non-resident Bangladeshi, the diaspora in this group as well, but it's a significant number. So when we think about Bangladesh, a country ravaged by floods, poverty, other kinds of natural and man-made woes, we don't really associate Bangladesh with social networking, Facebook. But we have Facebook users in Bangladesh, significant numbers. And if you compare with Sewak's Facebook page, that has 276,000. So not, I mean, I was expecting in the millions, given that India is so much larger than us, but it's only 3 times, exactly 3 times. Whereas India is probably 8 times in terms of population. So we're actually doing quite well in terms of social networking. So a few stats. Some of this is a little bit guesswork because we don't have absolute data. But if you look at Alexa, the site that tracks different countries in terms of internet use and also use by different large sites, we see about 6 million internet users in Bangladesh right now, and 70%, or probably a bit more than 70% of these users use internet through their mobile phones. So they either use the phone as a modem, or more than modem, they actually use the browser and the different tools on the mobile phone to access the internet. So 70% of 6 million is probably 4+ million that use internet to their mobile phones. Please.
Are those 6 million people, persons, or are those 6 million subscriptions? Because I think there will be people who have a mobile and also a PC. So do they count for 1 access or 2? How do you think? What do you think?
That's a difficult question, but probably 2. Probably 2, because using their PC, we're tracking the PC penetration. We're also tracking the mobile penetration. So there is probably double counting there in terms of number of users. But the PC penetration is so much smaller than mobile penetration.
Yeah.
So the mobile penetration or the mobile numbers will dwarf the PC numbers. So you probably end up getting something close to 6 million anyway. And this is again not very strict numbers. These numbers keep going up, and we don't have a good way of tracking exact numbers in Bangladesh. Facebook users, we saw that in Alexa, 0.6% users come from Bangladesh in Facebook. So that puts it about 2.5 million, which is quite surprising. I mean, I was quite surprised when I actually found it this morning. I was hoping to see a far lower number. Probably mostly urban, but let me talk about a personal experience about 3 months ago. I went with British Council to a remote island, shore area of Bangladesh, and we sat with probably about 60 kids, I mean young people, within the age of maybe 15 to 25, and they had access to 1 laptop and 1 internet connection in that community, and that belonged to the vice chairman of the Upazila. So Upazila is a sub-district, and he was kind enough to basically allow the young population in that area to use his laptop and the mobile modem. And among those 60 people there, about 10 to 12 already had Facebook accounts, which was phenomenal. That in that kind of an area where you don't think about internet connectivity, you don't think about technology, you think about basic survival. They had interest about going to the internet and being on Facebook and connecting with their peers, their friends in other countries. So it's quite phenomenal, that thing that's happening in Bangladesh. Number of bloggers in Bangladesh estimated to be about 200,000, and 50,000 apparently write on a daily basis, which is quite substantial. And the most popular Bangla blog, I'm sure most of you have seen that, is Somewhere in blog, which was actually set up by a non-Bangladeshi. Now, I would like to keep my presentation tied to the theories that were presented yesterday, but I'd like to ground those theories in today's reality in Bangladesh. So, if you take a step back, I mean, the last day or so you talked about Facebook, Twitter, mostly in an urban setting. Most of you live in urban areas, at least the ones who are from Bangladesh here. You live in urban areas, you live an urban lifestyle. You actually go to urban workplaces which have buildings. You study, you work, but those all are within buildings. So I'd like to sort of take a step back and give a preview of the other side of the world in Bangladesh, the larger picture, what other Bangladeshis are doing. And then I'll come back to this room again, but let's go outside and see what's happening in the fields. This was a blog that was set up in July of last year, and all Union Parishads of Bangladesh, 4,500 Union Parishads, and for the people who are not familiar with the concept of Union Parishad, that's the lowest tier of local government in Bangladesh. There are 4,500 such institutions across the country, each covering about 20,000 people or so, approximately. Very rural setting. And again, internet, technology, social networking, these are not things that would be considered relevant in that setting. But what the government has done is to set up one information and service center in each of these institutions. And they have internet connectivity. And what we did was set up a blog for these centers. And now we have over 4,000 members coming from those communities, mostly entrepreneurs who run these centers. But also there are local administrators and the government administration in the district and the sub-district level who are interacting with people through this blog. And different things are actually happening there. The traditional hierarchy that we have seen, where a person from the village or an entrepreneur from the Union Parishad is trying to connect with or talk to somebody in the district administration, it's an uphill battle. It's actually almost impossible. They have to send a letter. They probably have to get an appointment, stand there in the district office for potentially days, definitely hours. And what is happening is some of these administrators who stay at the district level, stay at the Upazila level, they are interacting with the rural people through this blog. So we're actually seeing that traditional barriers that the administration poses is actually breaking down, because they are able to communicate in a very democratic platform right now. So that democratization is happening through this blog. Another thing that's happening is learning from peers. So somebody from North Bengal is actually posting a problem, and somebody from southeastern part of the country is actually answering to that problem. Again, something that has not happened before. And we'd like to take this experience to the mobile platform as well. Again, this is on the PC. You cannot do this on a small form factor, but we'd like to take this experience, and maybe some of you who are more experienced with maybe microblogging or blogging that's possible on mobile phones could suggest what we could do there.